Very good afternoon to all. Today we will be discussing about the stresses in a thin cylindrical cell and spherical cells due to an internal pressure. Thin, we have already discussed about this thin cylinders when the thickness is less than 1 by 15th of diameter, we will call it as a thin cylinder, and when it is greater than 1 by 15th of diameter, we will call it as a thick cylinder. So today we will be discussing about the stresses developed in these thin cylindrical cell and spherical cells and when they are subjected to an internal pressure. So stresses in a thin cylindrical cell due to an internal pressure. For the analysis of the stress induced in a thin cylindrical cell is made by assuming certain things. So following assumptions are there. So the effect of curvature of the cylinder wall is neglected. So the curvature is there as it is cylindrical shape. So effect of curvature is neglected. The tensile stresses are uniformly distributed over the section of the walls. So in the actual condition, it may not be the case that the tensile stresses may be 100% or we can say uniformly, evenly distributed over the section of walls, but it is assumed in the analysis purpose. And the effect of restraining action of the heads at the end of the pressure vessel is neglected. So these are the assumptions before the analysis or going for the formulas for stresses in thin cylindrical cells. So we are discussing now about cylindrical cell, and again we will be discussing about the spherical cell also. So when a thin cylindrical cell is subjected to an internal pressure, it is likely to fail in following two ways. So there are two chances. So it may fail along the longitudinal section, splitting the cylinder into two troughs, and it may fail across the transverse section longitudinally, splitting the cylinder into two cylindrical cells. So there are two chances. The cylinder may fail circumferentially, it will divide into two parts, and it may fail in transverse section longitudinally. So based on these failure criteria, the wall of the cylindrical cell subjected to, when it is subjected to internal pressure, it has to withstand the tensile stresses of the two types. So circumferential or hoof stress and longitudinal stress. So when a cylinder, any cylindrical cell, any thin cylindrical cell is subjected to internal pressure, it had to withstand the circumferential stress, also called as hoof stress, and the longitudinal stress. So any cylinder is subjected to these two types of stresses. Okay, let us go one by one. Let us discuss first about the circumferential or hoof stress. Circumferential or hoof stress. So consider a cylinder subjected to internal pressure as shown. So if you refer this diagram, so here you assume that it is subjected to internal pressure. The tensile stress acting in a direction tangential to circumference is called circumferential or hoof stress. So the tensile stresses which are acting in a direction tangential to circumference. So if you assume this as circumference, then it is shown along the thickness. So in the tangential, for reference purpose, I am showing it this plane. So whatever I will say during the thickness, whatever they will develop. So here it is shown this. I will call this as the sigma T. So the tensile stress acting in a direction tangential to circumference. So it is acting here along the circumference and it is shown as sigma T. It is also called as circumferential or hoof stresses. In other words, tensile stresses on the longitudinal section or on the cylinder wall. So we can say it is acting on the cylinder walls shown here at this particular thickness part. They are acting. I will give you 2 minutes give the heading traces in thin cylindrical cell due to internal pressure, and there are two types of traces, so circumferential or hoof trace and the longitudinal trace. So draw the diagram. I will give you 2 minutes, then we will go for writing the formula for this. Okay, so let us proceed. You have given the heading as circumferential or hoof traces for a thin cylinder subjected to internal pressure. Now let us assume the Pi is the intensity of whatever this internal pressure. So it is shown in this diagram also. So this Pi, this is the internal pressure. Then Di, L and T. So Di is the diameter. Then this is shown here L. L is the length and T is the thickness. T is the thickness. Sigma T is the circumferential or hoof trace of the material for cylindrical shell. Here it is shown for understanding purpose that it is acting on this sigma T. So now considering the equilibrium of forces acting on the half portion of the cylinder of unit length. So considering the whatever the half portion is shown here, the equilibrium of forces is considered. So try to imagine here the equilibrium of forces. So now, though this is pressure, it is exerting a force, therefore it is considered as force only. So it is exerting a pressure on this particular. So this is nothing but the diameter. So on this side, it is assumed that so Pi into Di. So Pi is there and the Pi is acting on the diameter, internal diameter specifically I will say. Therefore, it is assumed Pi into Di is equal to opposite side forces sigma T into they are acting on thickness and thickness. So two times thickness. So it is mentioned here. I will write once again. So Pi Di is equal to sigma T into 2 times thickness. Therefore, sigma T is equal to Pi Di divided by 2 times of thickness. So this formula you have to use. Actually, it is in terms of sigma T, but in while solving the numericals, many of the times the sigma T value is given and we have to calculate many of the times the thickness required for the shell. So write down this sigma T is equal to Pi Di divided by 2T. This is for circumferential or hoof trace. Pi stands for the pressure, Newton per mm square, Di the internal diameter, L is the length, T is the thickness, and sigma T is the circumferential or hoof trace. So for reference, you can give this as equation number 1 also. So sigma T is equal to Pi Di divided by 2 times of thickness. Write down this, then we will go for the longitudinal trace. Very important. Once again, I will repeat the circumferential stresses for thin cylindrical shell, because the formulas when we will proceed further, PIDI will be remain same and some things will change. Therefore, keep in mind this is the formula for circumferential stress of a thin cylinder subjected to internal pressure. Okay, next longitudinal stresses. Longitudinal stresses. So if you see here, in this case, consider a closed cylindrical shell subjected to internal pressure. So like this you can assume. And very important, it is closed. On the other side also assume that it is closed, subjected to internal pressure. So now as it is closed with some like this, some so there is we can call this as with some this bracket or whatever the lead, it is closed. So whatever I am trying to show, it is nothing but like this. This is the section for your better understanding purpose. So it is closed. And it is closed, it is subjected to the tensile stress along the length. Now we have seen along the circumference. Now whatever the fluid will be there, it will also exert the pressure, and due to this pressure force, and ultimately stresses will be developed in this longitudinal direction also. So in this case, again I will say Pi, the internal pressure, Di, the internal diameter, then T is the thickness. And now in this case, across this thickness of this, the sigma L, the longitudinal stresses will act. So you take any cut section here. So across this thickness, so if I take cut section here, then whatever thickness I will get on that particular thickness, it is like this. And whatever the thickness is shown here on this particular thickness, they are acting. And how? In, I will show you the direction also. So as the stresses are longitudinal in the direction parallel to axis along the length. So in this way they will act. This is the for understanding purpose. Okay, tensile stress acting in the direction of axis is called longitudinal stresses. So these are the longitudinal stresses, sigma L. So now in this case, considering the equilibrium of forces in the longitudinal direction. So here the area is considered. So Pi, and the Pi is acting on surface is considered rather than area. I will say surface. So this Pi is acting on this particular. So pi by 4 into Di square. This is on one side, and the sigma L is acting on pi Di into T. So sigma L. So sigma L is acting on. So I will say the circumference pi Di, and into I will take the thickness. So here it is written pi into pi by 4 Di square, and this is nothing but sigma L pi Di into T. So if you go for this pi will get cancelled. The Di square will get cancelled, and you will get sigma L is equal to Pi Di divided by 4 times of T. Pi Di divided by 4 times of T. Very simple. Okay, this Di also get cancelled. So Pi Di divided by 4 times of T. So if you refer this sigma L, in the last case we have calculated sigma T as Pi Di divided by 2T. These are the circumferential stresses. And when we will go for this longitudinal, then sigma L is equal to Pi Di divided by 4T. So don't get confused. Depending upon what is asked and what is given, we have to solve the numerical. So using this longitudinal stresses, I will give time of 2 minutes to draw this diagram, then write down the formula, and we will proceed further. So longitudinal stresses of a thin cylinder subjected to internal pressure. Write down the formula. Longitudinal stresses for thin cylinder subjected to internal pressure. Sigma L is equal to pi di divided by 4 times of thickness. And if you try to establish a relation from this, you feel clear cut shows that this pi di divided by 2t and pi di divided by 4t. So sigma t circumferential stresses are double the longitudinal stresses, and whenever therefore it is required to go for the calculation of thickness, then definitely if you want to use only one formula, then pi di divided by 2t for thickness calculation. This is preferred. So we have discussed both the formulas for longitudinal as well as for circumferential. And if you want to calculate the thickness, this formula is preferred for calculating thickness because pi di divided by 2t and pi di divided by 4t. This clearly indicate that sigma L is 1/2 times of sigma t, or sigma t is twice the sigma L. Therefore, as circumferential stresses are more, we have to design based on the circumferential stresses, and whatever thickness we will get, definitely it can withstand the longitudinal stresses as they are having the half amount only. Okay, so write down this formula, then again we will proceed for. Now next is the this stresses in the spherical shell. Now we have discussed about the cylindrical shell. Now let us proceed for stresses in the spherical shell. Just write down these three formulas. Okay, next, thin spherical shells subjected to internal pressure. Now it is spherical. So here it is shown somewhat 3D type structure in the diagram 1, and the second diagram you can see clear cut the it is in two parts. So here it is tried to mention in 3D, and these are the two pictorial views. So consider a spherical cell, 2D view is shown. So consider a thin spherical cell subjected to internal pressure. If you see in this diagram, it is subjected to internal pressure Pi 3D, and if it is cut section is there, then the internal pressure Pi it is shown on this both the cases. Di is the internal diameter and sigma t is the circumferential stresses developed, and T is the thickness. Very important, starting with V is the storage capacity of the cell. It is nothing but the volume. So V is the storage capacity. It is nothing but the volume. Here Pi, the intensity of pressure vessel, then Di, the diameter, T thickness, and sigma T permissible tensile stress or circumferential stress. So it is shown on this second diagram also. Okay, so in this case, now you refer, as it is sphere, there is no concept of this length, longitudinal stresses, because in sphere it is only having the diameter. So the sphere structure itself, as if you consider the cell, there is a concept like length. But in this case, as it is a sphere, there is no length. So there is no concept of this particular length. As there is no length, so no longitudinal stresses also will be there. So it is a similar case. The stresses will be like whatever we have longitudinal stresses we have calculated, the same logic will be applied for this thin spherical cell subjected to internal pressure. If you refer the diagram, so if you refer this diagram, this Pi, Di and sigma L. So if you refer the diagram here also, this Pi, Di and this is nothing but the sigma T and sigma T. So tangential or circumferential stresses. So a spherical pressure vessel with a thin wall cut into two halves as shown in figure. So take 1 minute, just give the heading thin spherical cell subjected to internal pressure. Thin spherical cell subjected to internal pressure. And the 3D no not required. So you just draw this diagram. You just draw this diagram. Okay, so diagram over. Now a spherical pressure vessel subjected to internal pressure is cut into two halves that we have seen. Consider the equilibrium of forces, the same as applied. The surface is considered. So this di, this diameter, the pressure is applied on this area is concerned. So here pi by 4 d square. So this pressure pi, the pressure pi is applied on pi by 4 d square is equal to sigma t pi di into t is equal to this is sigma t. So if you see the sigma t, it is acting on the thickness. So sigma t into thickness into, we have to consider the peripheral. So therefore pi di. So it will become the thickness. Now they have mentioned. So if you refer into sigma t, it will become pi di divided by 4t. It is mentioned in t. Therefore it is pi di divided by 4 sigma t. So ultimately we have to use the formula for a calculation of thickness only. So this is the formula. T is equal to pi di divided by 4 sigma t, or sigma t is equal to pi di divided by 4t. This is applicable for thin spherical cells. So I am writing thin spherical cells. Sigma t is equal to pi di divided by 4t. And if you refer, this is the circumferential and longitudinal. These are for thin cylindrical shell. And then these two stresses are there. Thin cylindrical shell and these two stresses are there. Okay, so in this way, now this is the formula. Now very important in this, we have discussed already this Pi is nothing but the internal pressure, Di, the diameter, T, thickness, sigma, T, permissible tensile stress. Now the V volume, the storage capacity or volume of the cell. For sphere, it is given by, V is equal to pi by 6 into Di cube. Very important. For sphere, it is given by V is equal to pi by 6 into Di cube. Therefore, if the volume is given and we have to calculate di, and the di we will substitute in the main formula, the calculated di it will be substituted in this formula. So the di can be calculated by 6v divided by pi raised to 1 by 3. 6v divided by pi raised to 1 by 3. So this is the formula for v. This also you write down. So write down the formula for sigma T and write down for this V. Okay, so the numerical will be straightforward or it is a combination of cylindrical and spherical vessel. So we will see now the two numericals. One numerical is a straightforward based on only the, we can say, very simple, the circumferential or stresses for cylindrical, and then we will see one numerical which is a combination of spherical as well as cylindrical shell. So let us take this is the numerical number one. A very It's a simple type numericals based on this bit. So we will take two numericals now. Numerical number one. I will directly write down what is given and we will proceed further. So a seamless cylinder. Seamless. You might have heard the word seamless pipe. Seamless, no welding joint is there. So it is seamless. With a storage capacity of 0.3 meter cube. So with a storage capacity of 0.3 meter cube. So storage capacity is nothing but the volume is given 0.3 meter cube. Subjected to internal pressure of 25 MPa. So what is given? Pi is equal to 25 MPa is equal to 25 into 10 raised to 6 Newton per meter square or 25 as it is Newton per mm square. Then next, the length of the cylinder is twice its internal diameter. So length is given 2 times internal diameter. If you want, you can write here L stands for the length of cylinder. Di stands for the internal diameter of cylinder. The cylinder is made up of plain carbon steel. The SUT property is given. So this ultimate tensile strength of the material 420 Newton per mm square, and the factor of safety is given as 3. Determine the dimensions of cylinder. So we have to calculate the dimension here. Thickness we have to calculate. Length also we can calculate, but what is main ask, it is nothing but the thickness we have to calculate. Length also we will calculate, no problem. So we have to calculate the dimensions. Okay. So very first, if you refer the formula, sigma t is equal to pi di divided by 2 times of sigma t. This formula I will use. So pi given, sigma t given, but di not given. I have to calculate the di. Sigma t SUT divided by Fs. We can calculate. So for this di calculation, I have to go for the volume formula. Okay. So step 1, I will start with. It is the cylindrical shell given. Therefore, the volume is given by area into length. So I can say pi by 4 di square. This is the area into length. This is the volume. But we are having length is 2 times of diameter. So I will put the value V is equal to pi by 4 into di square into 2 times of di. Okay. So it will become V is equal to pi by 2 into di cube after modification. So I am having now value. I will put V value as 0.3 meter cube. I will get the value in meter. Keep in mind pi by 2 into di cube. Very easy. Now calculate the di. Di is equal to 2 into 0.3 divided by pi and the cube root of it. So you will get the diameter in meters. So tell me answer, then we will convert it into millimeters. Okay, calculate. What is the answer for di? In meters, you will get answer for di. 0.5758, 575. Okay, so I will say very simple problem is this. So I will say 0.5758 meters. So in millimeter, it will be d is equal to just multiplied by 1000. So it will be 575.8 millimeters. So di calculated. Again, now you can calculate L. So calculate L here only. It is nothing but 2 times of di. So L is equal to 2 into 575.8. Tell me answer. L is equal to, you will get in millimeters. In this way, you can calculate the diameter and length. Calculate. Tell me the length. Okay, so I will say here 115.1.6. Okay, so this is not the final answer till I will say we have calculated here the diameter and we have calculated here the length. We have to calculate the dimensions. Now length and diameter is over. One dimension is remaining. That is nothing but the thickness. So I will say these are the two dimensions we have calculated from volume only. So now let us go for a calculation of this last dimension. So I will say step number 1, I will say diameter and length. I will give your name for calculation. Diameter and length of cylinder. These we have calculated here. And step 2 will be thickness. Step 2 will be thickness of cylinder. Okay, so I will go. Very first, I will calculate the sigma T. The permissible stress is given by SUT divided by factor of safety. The ultimate tensile divided by factor of safety. So it is given 420 divided by 3. So I will say sigma T is equal to 140 Newton per mm square. I have calculated sigma T. Now we are having the formula for further case. So sigma T, the tangential or circumferential stresses are given by Pi di divided by 2T. So I can say here T is equal to, I will modify depending upon what is given, Pi di divided by 2 times of sigma T. So just to put value, pressure, check the units also 25 Newton per mm square into diameter. Now I have to put in mm only. So 575.8 divided by 2 into sigma T 140. If you are using unit at one of the place Newton per meter square, convert all things into meter or use Newton per mm square. So you can easily calculate the thickness. Tell me the thickness value. 51.41. Tell me unit also. Huh? We have calculated all things in millimeter. Therefore, we are getting here the answer in millimeter. So, this is the value, very simple numerical. Okay. If you consider your examination, then we can be asked for 1 or 2 marks as per as this online or MCQ type exam or any considered for 2 marks. This can be asked. So numerical one, very simple. Now, next we will go for somewhat uh, good numerical. I will say, not complicated or lengthy, but a good numerical in which we have considered the combination of the cases. So this I will say a problem number here 2. An air receiver consisting of a cylinder closed by hemispherical ends. So see here, this is the cylinder closed by hemispherical end. I will show you here in this case. So what is mentioned for your understanding, I am trying to show here. On the another side also. So if you refer this diagram, what is shown, so whatever the middle part, it is nothing but the cylinder, whatever this is shown, and it is closed by hemispherical end. So this is nothing but hemispherical ends. Now two hemispherical ends. So this is hemispherical end 1 and this is hemispherical end 2. Now two hemispherical ends will give rise to a spherical shell. So while calculating, I will consider this diagram as cylinder and spherical shell. So it is a combination of cylinder and spherical shell. It has a storage capacity of 0.25 meter cube. So I will write down the volume is given as storage capacity is nothing but volume 0.25 meter cube and operating internal pressure 5 megapascal. PI is equal to 5 MPa. It is made of plain carbon steel 10C4. So SUT for this 10C4 is given 340 Newton per mm square and the factor of safety is given. I will write here EFS is equal to 4. Neglecting the effect of welded joint. Now why it is mentioned? Because this is cylinder and hemisphere, so they are welded at this particular junction. Here the welding joint is there. Here also, whatever I am highlighting. So at this junction, welding joint is there. So neglecting the effect of welded joint. Because if we consider welding again, there is a chances of loss in efficiency. That bits we will again discuss afterwards. So that neglecting the effect of welded joint determine the dimensions of receiver. Dimensions of receiver means we have to calculate here diameter, length, and then diameter and length will be for cylindrical portion. The di will be same for all the cases, cylinder as well as the sphere. Then and then only it is possible to get connected. If the diameter is different, they will not get connected. So the diameter. So I will say here very first di. It is given internal diameter of cylindrical shell and it is same for hemispherical end also. Okay, then L length of cylindrical shell. Now, this is the given. Let us start calculation. The volume will give you the first two dimensions. So I will say here step number 1, diameter and length of cylindrical portion. Okay, this is the first thing that we want to calculate here. So, okay, the volume is given by, now this volume is given by volume of cylinder plus volume of the spherical shell. So I will say V is equal to, for cylinder, pi by 4 di square into L. This is the volume for, this is the volume for cylinder, and pi by 6 into di cube. This is the volume for sphere. So two hemispherical, it will give rise to one sphere. So I will say sphere. So this is the volume if you say. So I will say here this is volume for cylinder, and the second bracket is shown. It is the volume for sphere. We have length is 2 times of diameter. So I will say it equation becomes V is equal to pi by 4 di square into 2 times of di plus pi by 6 di cube. So what it will become? So I will say here V is equal to pi, this di cube will common. So pi and di cube will common, and I will say first case 1/2 and second case 1 by 6. So it will become like this. So first case it will be pi by 2 di cube and say pi by 6 di cube. So pi di cube 1/2 plus 1 by 6. So I will say this volume is given by V is equal to, now if you go for this, it will become 4 by 6 di cube. So it will become 4 by 6 pi di cube. So I will say here it is nothing but 2 by 3 into pi into di cube. This is just the modification of this volume of cylinder and spherical. Now substitute the values that we are having. So volume, you can convert it into di also. So if I want to write for di, I will say 3V divided by 2 pi. It is for di cube. And if I am writing for this, I will say cube root. So di is equal to cube root of 3V by 2 pi is equal to, again I will say cube root of 3 into volume 0.25 divided by 2 into pi. So tell me the di value. You will get the answer in meter. We will convert in millimeters. Tell me the answer. Zero 492.3. Okay, you have converted in millimeter. So you will get 0.4923 something. 0.492. So I will say 492.3 millimeter. I will round up as 500 mm. So I will say here diameter is equal to 500 mm and length is equal to 2 times of diameter is equal to 1000 mm. So this I have calculated the length and diameter. Now what is remaining? Just a thickness calculation. The thickness calculation, before proceeding to next page, I want to highlight the thickness calculation for cylinder. It is having some different formula here, and for spherical vessel it is having some different formula. So after this, let us go for step number 2. The next, or I can say the last step also. Step 2. We will do in 3 steps. Calculate the thickness separately. So thickness of, I will say, cylindrical portion first. Thickness of cylindrical portion. So very first, let us calculate sigma t. Sigma t is equal to SUT divided by 3 is equal to 340. Check the values. So it is nothing but 340 and 4. So 340 divided by 4. So you will get the value 85 Newton per mm square. Now the thickness of cylindrical wall is given by. So we have to write down here. The thickness of cylindrical wall is given by, the thickness of cylindrical wall is given by. So I will say here, we are having formula sigma t is equal to pi di divided by 2 times of thickness. So if we will say, then t is equal to pi di divided by pi di divided by twice sigma t. So I can say thickness you will get is equal to pi 5 Newton per mm square, diameter 500 in millimeter divided by 2 into again 85 Newton per mm square. So in this way you can calculate thickness of cylindrical cell. Calculate tell me answer. Okay, very good. 14.70. So 14.705. I will say assume it as 15 millimeters. This is the thickness for cylindrical shell. Now, step number 3. Last formula we will use. Step number 3, thickness for hemispherical ends. Okay, so last point, thickness of hemispherical end. It is nothing but the formula for spherical end only. So the thickness for for hemispherical or spherical. Hemisphere is nothing but half part of the sphere. Spherical end is given by, we are having the formula. Directly I will write down thickness is equal to pi di divided by 4 times of thickness. So I will say t is equal to, substitute the values. So 5 into 500 divided by 4 into 85. So pressure and this in Newton per mm square. Here the formula I will modify. Here it is nothing but sigma t. So 85. Substitute the values. Okay, so 7.35. Very good. So here I will say sigma t, and answer you will get thickness is equal to 7.35 mm. I will say round up it at 8 millimeters. So I will highlight this. So in this way, if the problem is that there is a combination of this cylindrical and spherical cell, then also you can easily calculate the thickness.